The situation with Snow White makes me so disappointed because the whole movie is a disaster. They're removing the seven dwarves and replacing them with the seven magical companions. The lead actress is constantly belittling the original animated, and now she's decided to put out a very cryptic, generic response on her Twitter to the controversy she has caused herself. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content that I create, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media so you can see when my content is posted, and of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon or a supporter via YouTube memberships. So I have been covering Rachel Zegler quite a lot on the channel because she is constantly saying things that make people dislike her even more than we already do, and I've had to talk about just the Snow White remake in general because, of course, Disney has made some very questionable decisions, like with the seven dwarfs turning them to the seven magical companions that look like homeless people in Wonderland. But now Rachel Zegler has released a cryptic response to the backlash, saying things like, "I hope the world becomes kinder." So it says the battle about Snow White has become the internet's latest great debate. Comments Rachel Zegler, who plays the character, made about the Disney princess while promoting her live-action remake have resurfaced and sparked ire from some fans after her interview clips spread like wildfire, and TikTok users called out the West Side Story actress for her criticism of the Disney animated classic. She took to Twitter, okay, X, to share her thoughts. Now, she has said a few different things at this point. The first post was, "I hope the world becomes kinder," and this is, of course, right around the time where people are digging up clips of her from specifically D23, where she says things like she didn't ever really enjoy the original animated. She said that she was so scared of it as a child. She watched it once, but as an adult or a teenager, she never watched it, and when she got the role of Snow White, it was the first time she had seen the movie in 17 or 18 years, and this did upset people. I know I had made a tweet about it that's blown up. I had said Rachel Zegler admitting that she didn't like Snow White growing up, saying she had only watched it once before getting the role, is so sad to me. Out of millions of women who love the character and care about the story, and yet this is who we get, and this is still my opinion. While yes, I think that a lot of people would agree Snow White was never the best out of them all, it definitely was one of the most notable because, of course, it was the first, and people do have a lot of love and nostalgia for the 37 Snow White film. And the character in general. It's the reason why you go to stores and in the doll section you see Snow Whites, you see Ariels, you see Belles, you see all of these different characters because they have shaped the, childhoods and actively shaped the childhoods of people, and unfortunately, she just doesn't really care. I mean, admitting that she didn't like it growing up and she only watched it once is sad because there are so many people out there who would love to play this character, who are probably very good actresses, who fit the description more, and who just have a lot of care for the, for the character. And unfortunately, she is a modern woman. Okay, she is perfectly fine with all the changes the remake slash adaptation is making. She has said so many times that the 1937 film had a lot of problems. It had a lot of issues. Like recently, I had talked about this, but she had decided to say that she thought the prince was actually a stalker. And this remake isn't about love, and it isn't about a love story with this male character because he was a stalker in the animated. I mean, the more she talks, the more she is really killing this project. I mean, she is a PR nightmare at this point, and she doesn't even really care. And not only did she go on social media and say, "I hope the world becomes kinder," because of course she has been facing a lot of backlash recently over her comments, she also decided to make another post saying, "I love you very much forever and ever. Remember to be kind, treat each other with patience, emotions and empathy. Remember that you are loved unconditionally, no matter your mistakes, no matter your misunderstandings. You deserve it. You deserve love. You deserve to live without fear. So she is, yes, I mean, alluding to the fact that she is like afraid and that she doesn't feel very loved right now and no one's being kind to her. Yes, she has faced a lot of criticism on social media, but she is the reason why she is facing so much criticism. Yes, of course, there are people at Disney and on her team that are probably telling her to say certain things about the movie, right? She can't just leak the ending of the movie if they've changed it, and they tell her not to do that. But at the same time, she is the one who is saying she thought the prince was a stalker. She's glad it's getting a modern remake. You know, it's not a love story. All of these different things that, yes, are upsetting people. And of course, over the past few days, people have also been roasting her over her strike comments. Hollywood is up in flames right now, and she decided to go to one of the strikes and be on camera and say things like, if I'm wearing an iconic Disney princess dress for 12 hours a day, I deserve to be paid for every minute that it's streamed online. Completely ignoring the fact that most of the people that are striking right now are people who are not getting paid a lot. But I can't really feel bad for any of them because, first of all, Rachel Zegler is getting millions and millions of dollars to play Snow White. We don't know an exact amount, but if you look at some of the other actresses, they've gotten upwards of $2-3 million. I mean, Emma Watson is a very well-known actress, but she got $10 million to play Belle in Beauty and the Beast remake in 2017. But you've also got just the people in the industry, like the writers who are coming up with this garbage, that are complaining, oh, I don't get paid enough. Well, if you were making better content that was making more money, maybe you would be paid more. And yes, ultimately, companies are, trying their very best to keep this strike going on so that they will lower their demands. But you have this situation of these writers and actors are asking for so much more, and the companies want to give them so little. They just need to meet in the middle, and it's inevitable that they will, right? There's been news over the past few weeks that they have been meeting and they have been talking, trying to work out a deal. But Rachel Zegler made this situation about herself, and this is why a lot of people don't like her, because she makes everything about herself. She complains, she moans, she groans, she whines. She's not coming out and just saying, I completely understand that people aren't going to like this remake. If you don't, that is perfectly fine. The 37 animated is still there for you to enjoy. Maybe you'll like the next Disney remake slash adaptation, but she's not coming out and saying that. She's just basically saying that everyone's being mean to her, everyone's making her afraid, everyone's making her uncomfortable. And of course, people just do not really like her at this point. There are still some individuals who are rooting for her, who are going to bat for her, who are saying she's this amazing woman. In my opinion, okay, she does deserve criticism. She does deserve backlash. And that's what she is getting, rightfully so. Do I think that this movie is going to magically be better in the next few months and she's going to stop this? Of course not. She is someone who likes a lot of attention on her, and she doesn't really seem to care if that attention is positive or negative. And I'm sure that her PR team has told her at this point that, if you don't want to face this backlash, you've got to cut the crap, but she hasn't. And I think that this movie is going to fail because of all of the changes that they're making. No love story. Prince Charming is going to be different because they thought he was a stalker in the original, which is absurd. The 7 magical companions. I just don't see Snow White and the 7 dwarves in this movie at all whatsoever. I just don't see a way that it's going to work out. I don't see a way that this is going to be successful. And I think once they actually start pushing marketing material, there are going to be normies and individuals who don't really follow social media who are going to see the posters and the images and be like, I have no clue what this is, but there's no way that I'm going to watch this. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.